Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome back to NAWBO On the Go. My name is Tanya Shagnon, a member of the headquarters team, and here with me today, I have Andrea Libros from our Indianapolis chapter. How are you, Andrea?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Tanya?
I'm so good. Thank you for asking. So we're gonna jump in super quick.
Let's do it.
Let's start with just like two sentences about your company.
Okay. So I work with women all over the world, really, who own their own businesses, entrepreneurs, founders, small business owners, whatever word we want to use today. And I am a speaker, a coach, an author, a podcast host, and my area of expertise really is helping these women think bigger about what is possible. So sometimes I say, your business on the outside may look like like it's excelling, but on the inside, you're exhausted. So
Yeah,
external excelling, internal exhaustion, and that is keeping you thinking small and probably not taking advantage, if that's the right word, which I don't love, of possibilities and opportunities. And so we move you out of that, we shift you out of that mindset into
I
some big
love
thinking.
that. I can't wait to hear more about it. Okay,
Yeah.
before we jump in, we always start with a super fun question about our speakers so we can
Okay.
get to know you as a human, not just as a subject matter expert. So tell me something fun that you do when you're not working, because, we as entrepreneurs have times that we're not working.
Oh yeah, we do, don't we?
I mean, every
We
now
totally
and then.
do every now and then. Okay. So, I really as an adult have taken up golf. We live actually on a golf course now, so that helps.
Right?
And I have been playing a lot of golf. In this summer, I won my first tournament. I know,
What?
it was so crazy. It was so
That's
crazy.
amazing. How did
I don't
that
know.
feel?
It was really rewarding because I mean, I put some work into becoming better, and it's like I've practiced, I've played,
Yes.
I've taken lessons, I've been doing this thing. So it was very rewarding. It kind of brought back a little bit of like the high school varsity sport vibe in my body, which I hadn't felt in a very, very long time.
I
So,
love it. Golf is not easy. And
no, it is not easy.
For those of us non-golfers, my friends who are golfers always laugh at me because they're like, Tanya, do you want to golf? I do not understand how you find joy in hitting a ball and going to look for it. That's
I
not my
mean,
idea of fun.
yeah.
They're like, but
So
the idea is not to have to go look for it. I'm like, okay.
yes, actually, my friend and I joke that when we par a hole, which means like you get the appropriate number of strokes to get the ball in the little hole, we're like, oh my gosh, this is actually kind of fun when you're not when you're not hitting the ball twice as many times as you're supposed to. This is
And you're
crazy.
not playing hide and seek.
No, so true.
Well,
So anyway,
congratulations. That is completely amazing.
it was pretty exciting. It's
I
pretty
love
exciting.
that.
Yep.
Okay. So I know you often say big thinking requires trust. Can you share what the trust framework is and why it's so critical for business owners who feel stuck in that messy middle?
Yes, let's talk about this. We could talk about this one question the whole time if we really wanted to. Um, so trust is, I think, the key in moving yourself past being stuck or past exhaustion or past thinking small. And I use this word trust both as an acronym, but I also use it as a thing to describe what we need to feel inside ourselves. So I often say, okay, let's go to 5 years from now. I call that maybe future you, or we could even think of a year from now or 3 years from now. And if I want, actually, let's just do this, Tanya. I want
Right.
you to picture yourself 3 years from now. Okay. Just
Mm-hmm.
like a visual. Are you smiling? Are you frowning? Are you angry? What are you? What are you feeling?
I'm happy.
You're happy, right? Okay, so
Yeah,
everybody says they're happy. Like
I'm
I've never
happy.
gotten anyone saying that they're not. So you've got a big smile on your face,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And then I will ask always, what do you think? Why are you smiling? Like, what's happened or what is happening? So then we have to kind of imagine, which is hard work for us women out there,
Right.
what that 3 years from now might even look like. Like, what would have happened? I mean, what
So
do you
when
think?
I pictured me, I was happy and I was on a beach.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there's that like freedom, right?
Yeah,
In being an entrepreneur, like you said, like we have free time.
right,
So,
right.
right. Okay, so maybe you've got lots of free time. You're on a beach, right? And you're
Hmm.
smiling. So when you today are trying to decide how to handle a situation or whether or not you should do something, and we're debating in our brains like should I, shouldn't I, or how do I spend my time, how do I spend my money, I always say go ask future you. Okay, what would future you say? So future you would probably say, I don't know, whatever the decision is that's probably going to give you the most freedom, like
Yeah,
go for it, or no, you don't need that in your life right now, right? So future you always has the answer, so you have to trust future you.
I
And
love that.
yeah, and if you don't trust future you, we're in trouble. Not in trouble, but it makes it a lot harder.
Hmm.
So the trust framework, each of those letters actually stands for two things, but we can walk through that. It's really critical for us to trust. So the T in trust stands for thought options. So, as business owners, as humans, we have options about how we want to think about any situation. Okay. Any
Right.
situation. So, you and I, before we started recording, you were telling me about your networking group and how they did a nice deed, we'll call it, right?
Hmm.
An act of kindness. And you could have, when you had that opportunity, you could have thought about that in so many different ways. Like, well, that's not really necessary. Or, I don't know. I mean, those guys are just doing their job. Like, we don't need to do anything nice for them. I mean, or, hey, why don't we all get together and create these care packages, right? You had
Hmm.
options. So,
Right.
T stands for thought options. And if we're going to kind of face this world with a different framework that's going to lead us to what we really want, we have to explore all of those options. So that's what T stands for. R stands for real problem. So, real problem, there is no real problem. This is the other thing. If you're a big thinker, you recognize that the only problem that really usually, the 99% of the time, the only problem is that you don't want to experience a negative feeling. Okay.
Wow.
So if you're a big thinker, if you're thinking about everything that's possible, you're realizing that the only real problem is that you don't want to experience doubt or frustration or disappointment or guilt, right? Or uncomfortableness. So if you think about something, I don't know if anything comes to mind, but that you were wavering on, should I do it? Should I not do it? Really probably the only reason you were wavering is because you were debating about whether or not you wanted to experience, even if it's just fear
Interesting.
in tackling something.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay, you.
All right, you stands for uncertainty or unknown. So all big thinkers have to figure out how to embrace or understand uncertainty or the unknown, because we never know what's going to happen tomorrow,
Right. We could
right?
be abducted by aliens.
We could. We totally could.
Yeah.
And if you think, like, sometimes we'll say, "Well, that sounds great, but I'm just going to think about it." Right? What are you really thinking about?
That negative feeling that's going to come along
Yes.
with it.
Like that's it. You're like, "Do I really want to put myself in this situation?" Our brain likes to come up with excuses too. Can I afford it? Do I have the time? And we all know you can have the time for anything you want to make the time for. Right?
True story.
And right, and can I afford it? If you really wanted to afford something, you're going to figure out how, right?
Yeah.
So it's none of those. It's just the we just don't the we don't like the unknown. We don't like not knowing exactly how something is going to turn out.
Interesting. Okay, now I can't wait.
Okay.
S.
S. Okay. S is for securing support. Okay.
Mm,
So I don't know anyone out there who you might consider a big thinker, either like in history or in your personal world, right? They all have support systems. And
yes.
they can look like a lot of different things. So, a support system can be technology, okay? Um, it can be a family member, but I'm going to say the best kind of support is another human who is not in your world on a daily basis, who is not in the peanut butter jar with you, I like to say, or hasn't jumped into the pool with you and is like in there commiserating with you. Okay.
Interesting.
The peanut
Yes.
butter jar, someone in the peanut butter jar with you, it's like they're so close to the situation too that they can't really see what's
Mm-hmm.
what's going on and what's not going on.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what S stands for. So securing support is you need someone else out there helping
Yeah.
you. And
Could
then the
never do
last
anything on your own.
no,
Mm-mm.
it's true. And then the last T stands for taking massive action. So we're really good at taking passive action, which is listening to, I mean, types of passive action, listening to a podcast, reading a book, asking 50 million people what they think. So you're thinking you're like, I'm doing things, but nothing's happening. Yeah, it's because you're not doing the hard things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not doing the hard things.
So, which of these do you see people struggle with the most? And how can they start shifting it?
So I think in this trust framework, I think the thing that people struggle with the most is the embracing the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is in like that's feeling based. Everything we do or don't do is based on a feeling, like I said. So I think that's the one that's like the hidden one they struggle with the most. Okay? I think the one that's out there most that we might recognize is thought options, not considering all of our thought options. I think externally we recognize in others that there's so many different ways they could think about a situation. Internally for ourselves, we recognize that we're just not comfortable with is not knowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I
Yeah.
see that. Yeah.
You've created something called the to believe list, which is such a fresh idea compared to the typical to-do list. I'm a to-do lister. Nothing brings me more joy than crossing something off that list. What is your to believe list and how does it help entrepreneurs think bigger?
So the to believe list ties right into this because our brain really wants to know what we need to do. Like, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? Where do we need to do? Right? We want to know what the action is. So we all have to-do lists. Do you have a to-do list? I'm
I
gonna guess you do.
live by my to-do list. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've got a to-do list. And if you look at that to-do list, how many of those things on that list really, like your list for today, how many of them really align with where you want to be in 3 years, with where that future you? Like how many of them are really
I don't want to answer
getting you
that question.
closer to that goal?
I don't want to answer that question.
Yeah, right. Not many. I'm gonna guess not many. If you're like
Not
most
many.
people,
Yeah, not many.
not many. Okay. So if none, sometimes none, because our to-do lists are just like,
Tasks.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes.
Tasks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an idea. My idea here that I'm putting out there in the world
Mm-hmm.
is that instead of a to-do list, we should have what I call a to believe list. Okay.
I collected the word believe, so I'm all in.
Okay. So if you have a to believe list, okay, you your to-do list will automatically appear. It will automatically populate, so to speak. So if you believe, for example, that you can go sit on a beach right? Drinking a
Right.
margarita, smiling. That's going to be your life in 3 years. You're going to spend more days on the beach than any place else.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay. What you're going to do today is probably going to be a little different than what's on that to-do list.
Yeah.
You're going to make some different decisions.
Yeah.
So see
That's
where I mean? So the
amazing.
to believe list is kind of like the 2025 version of the to-do list.
Yeah. I love that.
Yep. And you've got to kind of live with it. It's sit with it for a little bit. So,
Yeah. Okay, we've talked about future you
yep.
and how you think of her when you need to make decisions. Share an
Mhm.
example of how choosing from your future self changes the outcome.
All right. I would love to do that.
Yes, let's
So,
do it.
I would love to do that. Okay. Um, so here's an example like in my own business, right? So I am really working hard to step out of being the operator in my business and own more of that visionary role.
Mm-hmm. Which
Okay.
is really, really hard.
Which is really, really hard. Yeah, it
Really,
is.
really
It's
hard.
harder than you think.
Yeah.
But if I hold that belief, we'll call it, in that future you, so if you're, I have way more of a chance of sitting on a beach drinking a margarita in 3 years if I'm the visionary in the business versus the operator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? It means other people need to be doing the operating, we'll call it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I am about to hire a chief of staff for my business.
Wow.
And that person is going to be charged with holding the vision and making sure all of the operational things are actually happening in order for this business to go where I want it to go. So that for me, like this is happening like right now, this month, that for me is a big move. And
Yeah.
that really comes from future you, right? Because
Wow.
can I be the operator and all the things? Sure.
Of course you can. It's your
But
baby that you birthed. Mm-hmm.
right. But I don't, if I want to create future you, then that's not where this is going.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense. And like
Yeah.
light bulbs right and left, all over
Yeah.
the place. Listeners who are successful on paper, but just exhausted in reality, what is one practical step they can take today using trust, a to believe list, or a future you to start thinking bigger?
Okay. I think one thing that they can do today is to use what I call the big three method, and you can do that today. So the big three means what are the three things that you need to do today that you probably have some resistance towards, but will move the needle the furthest? So it's not brushing your teeth. It's actually not even recording this podcast in a sense because you weren't going to not show up to do this, right? Like that was on your calendar. But it might be making that difficult phone call. It might be actually scheduling a doctor's appointment. It might be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. It might be
Having that call with
deciding,
your accountant.
yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
looking at the numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need 30 things, but we need three things each. If you do three things today, then you're going to really move the needle. I just heard a quote last week from um, Kevin O'Leary, the guy on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I was at a conference and he was a keynote speaker
Oh my gosh, was he
and
so good?
he was really good. And I am totally going to butcher this quote, but it was something about um, if you can stay at 80% in that 80% zone throughout the day doing things that are going to matter, you're going to get way further than if you spent only 20% of your time doing them. So sometimes I'm butchering it, but this is the effect. So it's like 20% of your time. A lot of times we only spend 20% of our time doing kind of those hard things that are going to move the needle. And he said, if you can flip it and spend 80%, you're going to be so successful.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You have been so insightful, and I took like an entire page of notes. Um, So thank you for spending time with us today. But before I let you go, we always ask everyone to share a favorite quote. Do you have a favorite quote you would like to share with us today?
This like all the time. Being an entrepreneur is really a journey in personal development disguised as an entrepreneurial adventure. So it's really a journey in you understanding yourself better. It is not just this thing that's supposed to be fun and exciting and adventurous. Everybody
That is
gets,
so fun.
yeah. So being an entrepreneur is really a journey in personal development disguised as an entrepreneurial adventure.
Interesting. I love
Mm-hmm.
that one. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me today and hanging out with me for a little bit.
Love it. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and listeners, thank you for hanging out with us today as well. And we will see you back here super soon for our very next episode. Have a great day, everyone.